Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. It's good to be with you guys. I first want to do a shout out to my loyal notification squad. You guys seriously rock. It's good to have you as part of the family. Ring that bell and join my notification squad so that you guys can get notified when I've got some videos coming up. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing this every single Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. PST, which is Los Angeles time. Today's subject is you can learn to sing. And I want to go through this in lots of ways maybe you have or have not thought about. I do have a couple of videos on this subject. A singer is only a singer because they have the guts to be one. You can learn to sing. But anyway, if you guys wouldn't mind, let me know your first name and where you're tuning in from. We'll do some shout outs. I'm not gonna take your questions from last time, guys, because I'm gonna do a Q&A session on that. So I'm gonna save them. I won't throw them away. So go ahead and put your questions in. If you've got questions not related to today's subject matter, I'm totally down with that. But just know that I'm gonna get to them at another time because I've got a lot I'd like to cover today and I don't want to lose people. So anyway, so let's get your shout outs. The couple of things here that I do want to say, there were some really good questions about Bon Jovi's voice, getting a clean voice, leaning into that to get distortion. I can only sing high with power. How can I do it with finesse? These are all really, really great topics. But so we've got Brazil, we've got England, we've got the East Coast, West Coast, all kinds of stuff. Again, my notification squad guys, you guys rock. So please don't forget to ring that bell, gang. All right, as I get started with this, I'm going to just go launch right into this, guys, because I think it's a really important subject. And as you know, I've been doing a lot of vocal coach reactions, right? A vocal coach reacts to this and that. And it's predominantly bands. Usually I touch on the singer first because I'm a singing channel. And then I break into instruments and, you know, live things and quirky things and backstories of people, which I think is really important. And I'm going to be doing that too as I do these what makes this singer great series. I'm taking my vocal coach reactions and I'm narrowing it down to singing. And I want you guys to know that. So it's kind of vocal coach reactions part 2. I just want to stay more focused on the singing part because most of us here are here for that. Anyway, but I want to say a couple things, and that is, what makes a singer great? You know, we have a lot of influence in our lives, not the least of which are these TV shows that everyone focuses on the high note, or they focus on beauty, or both, right? And so if you can't sing the high note and sustain the big high note, and you're not beautiful, you don't get to play. Well, that's disturbing. I remember seeing I think it was a Facebook meme that said something like, you know, music was a lot better when ugly people were allowed to do it. There's a lot to be said for that. Anyway, but so, you know, is it beauty? Is it both? Both the note and beauty, right? There's a few things that I think that it brainwashed us, except we have lots of breaths of fresh air that have come through this. Adele being one of them. She definitely doesn't fit the mold of what a TV show would have had her do, and yet look at how incredibly successful she was. So the mold is broken, or can be broken, or broken through, I should say. I've gotten a lot of people saying, you know, Ken, you know, a singer's only a singer because they have the guts to be one. You can learn to sing. You always use the same example of Bob Dylan. And I thought, you know, that's a good point. I've been lazy, and I should have been giving you guys better information, or more complete information, not better, complete. And so I wanted to start with that because I think it's pretty telling. And I want you guys to chime in too and put in the comments sections who you think I've missed. I've missed a lot of people. But I want to point one thing out before I get started, is that I just randomly went through the top 100 best singers of all time for guys, the top 100 best singers of all time for girls, and I looked at a few different, very credible things that had a lot of great singers. But I want to emphasize that these sites were the top 100 best singers of all time. Okay, I want to start there because it's a really interesting place to start. So we've talked about Bob Dylan. You're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, it may be the Lord, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. And he's got that real froggy, thin, wiry kind of voice. And we've talked about how many people have covered his music. Okay, we're gonna set that on a shelf. I'm gonna go down a list, and I'm gonna be an equal opportunity offender. Okay, so bear with me. I'm not here to disrespect these artists. I'm not here to say they're not great artists. I'm here to say that there's the technical term great. There's a great singer that's technically great, and there's a great singer that's just great because of everything that makes up that singer that makes them great, the total sum of that singer that makes them great. Now, if you've noticed in a lot of these reactions, and even in now What Makes a Singer Great, I emphasize that it's not just their voices that make them great. It could be their backstory, where they came from. It could be the songs they're writing about, what kind of finger they have on the pulse of culture and how they affect change in culture or minister or strike a chord with society, with culture. So I want to start with Johnny Cash. People are going to think, oh no, you're not going to diss Johnny Cash. I'm not dissing him, but I'm saying from a technical standpoint, Johnny Cash is not a great singer, okay? And so I want you guys to put in the subject who you think is really not a great singer, but they've had an incredible impact on the music industry, on the singing music industry. So Johnny Cash would be one. So let's take a song like Boy Named Sue, Boy Named Sue, right? He's kind of like a country rapper, or you know what I mean? He's just like a, some guy, give me 20, I got 20, I've got 20, go twice, 20, go three times, he's got that rap thing going on, and he doesn't really sing. Now maybe on songs like Ring of Fire, he sings a little bit, but yet look at his impact. Now, I want to take a song like Hurt, and that's maybe one of the most impressionable songs I've ever seen, ever, on video. I know it's a Trent Reznor song, I know it's a Nine Inch Nails tune, blah, 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 and he redid it, but his interpretation of that song is riveting. And when you watch it, I recommend you watch Hurt by Johnny Cash, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. He's not singing, but man, is it one of the most powerful music videos I've ever seen in my entire life, straight up. Let's go on to the Chili Peppers. Now, I'm going to just talk songs here, okay? Some people may think Anthony's a great singer. He's technically not a great singer, but what he does well. You take a song like Under the Bridge, he's just droney and whatever, but he's got a serious attitude, crazy energy, and he really fits almost like that modern punkish sort of thing that he does really, really well. And it's so quirky, it makes you kind of stay tuned in. It's like, I don't know, there's something about his voice I like. It's not great, it's weird, but now, a singer's only a singer because they have the guts to be one. He certainly would fit in that category, in my personal opinion. Now, the reason I'm doing this, guys, is because this whole subject and the context of this is you can learn to sing. And I'm pointing these guys out not to show their downfalls or their inadequacies. I'm pointing out to show you it's what made them great. What did they do to get great? Like, what was their story? How did they all of a sudden get popularity? I know I'm gonna get some hate mail for some of this stuff, guys, and I'm totally prepared for that. But David Bowie, come on, guys. You might think, oh my gosh, he's an incredible singer. No, he's not. No, from a technical standpoint, he's not. Now, you think of songs like Let's Dance or Modern Love, right? Yet he used his artistry in such an amazing way. He got to sing with Freddie Mercury, right? So think about that. Under Pressure. Well, how cool is that? So here's a guy who reinvented himself over and over and over again. Yeah, he's got that creepy eye, but if you think of those songs, Let's Dance, or even TVC 15 or Rebel Rebel or any of those songs, they're not technically great songs vocally at all. In fact, he's kind of pitchy and droney and kind of creepy and weird. Like, TVC 15, right? Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Or let's dance, put on your red shoes and make the blues, right? It's maybe some crooner aspect to it, but it was his fashion. He was extremely fashionable. His songwriting was great. His lyrics were great. And he was just kind of mesmerizing, right? And Mick Jagger could fit into that category for crying out loud. Neil Young, Southern Man, right? Here's a droney, whiny voice, but he's Neil Young, right? Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Where did he come from? Some great composers and great songwriters, and yet he's far from a great singer, but he's apparently a great artist. Look at how many lives he's touched. Here's another one, guys. You're gonna hate me for saying this. Marilyn Manson. Up to the dope show. All I gotta do is this and freak you out with my androgynous look and my creepy nature at the dope show. You know, right? He's not a great singer. Think about Beautiful People. The Beautiful People is also really creepy. But as an artist, he really stretches and goes beyond, goes outside the box and stretches beyond the norm. And it's because of his creepiness that we're all going, whoa, that's creepy. What was that again? Let me see that again. Back that up one more time, right? So it was his artistry. It's his story. It's what he's trying to tell you. And his lyrics are pretty interesting, actually, because I think The Beautiful People is actually lyrically pretty interesting. Dope Show's an interesting lyric. Ray Davies from the Kinks. Yep, I'm going to pick on him. No, I'm not picking on anybody, guys. I'm just being real. And by the way, if I can't be real with you guys and just tell you straight up and not be politically correct about something, we're just not going to learn, okay? So this isn't about dissing an artist. It's about being straight up and honest with you from my perspective, and it's just my opinion. I know you'll have yours, but I've got to say it for what it is. Ray Davies, the Kinks. You really got me. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me. Right? Well, but yet Van Halen covers one of their songs, right? How cool is that? And okay, so now I'm going to really put my foot in my mouth. David Lee Roth. Is David Lee Roth a great singer? No, he's not a great singer. Now, what he does was great. He was hilarious, an incredible frontman. He could hold a tune. I loved, Beautiful Girls and, all the different, things. Wish They All Could Be California Girls, Just a Gigolo. I mean, his personality oozes out of his singing and out of his stage presence and out of his artistry and everything that made him David Lee Roth. So that makes him great, right? It's not that it's just technically singing. And by the way, every single one of these people I'm about to mention, none of them would have made it past the first round of a TV show. Think about it. None of them, Vince Neil, none of these guys, none of them maybe would have even gotten the audition to get to a round. Isn't that interesting? I actually find that really fascinating, and I'm going to explain why. So, all right, and I know I'm being an equal opportunity offender, like I said, but Jimi Hendrix, was he a great singer? In fact, let's go a step farther. You ready? I'm really going to put my foot in my mouth, guys. Ready? All right, I took my shoes off just so I could do this moment. I put my foot in my mouth. Ready? Jimi Hendrix wasn't such an amazing guitar player. It's that he did what he did first. Let me say it again. It wasn't that Jimi Hendrix was such a crazy, amazing guitar player. It's that he did what he did first. He innovated it. He invented it. He set the precedent. True for his singing and his singing style and his phrasing within his singing. Everyone came on later and copied Jimi and did Jimi better than Jimi, all the great, really great guitar players. But what made him great was he did it first. He invented it. He invented the sound. He came up with it. That speaks volumes from an artistry standpoint, way beyond just the technical aspect. Was he technical? To some degree, right? He's Jimi Hendrix, for crying out loud. But let's put the PC aside, being politically correct, and let's be really honest with ourselves about these guys. Dave Graham from Depeche Mode, I know a lot of people, that's their favorite band, but I'm taking a ride with my best friend. I hope he doesn't let me down again. Right? Is that great singing? No. But very interesting, very mesmerizing. You're kind of like, whoa, good songwriting, good storytelling. I get it, right? I get it. And he struck a chord, like I said, with culture in a way that he's Dave Graham from Depeche Mode. Here we go. Louis Armstrong. I've said him before, I'll say him again. What a wonderful world. I got such a froggy throat. I can hardly sing 5 notes. But I've gone on to write one of the biggest, greatest used songs in all of film and television history, where entire movies were based around that one song. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Here's a guy, trumpet player, here's a guy who's really froggy, could hardly sing. Andre Crouch was like that too, the famous, a gospel legend. Could barely sing, wrote some incredible stuff. Songs that changed the world. A story. His story changed the world. And I'm going to get to your story in a minute. Phil Lynott. Guys, I'm just going to go down this because you guys busted my chops on all you ever talk about is Bob Dylan. No, Phil Lynott. I love Boys Are Back in Town. The boys are back. The boys are back. Hey, just right back today. Them Wildcats who've been away. They didn't have much to say. That chick don't want to know, forget her. I remember that time in Charlie's place. He showed up and slapped out his face. Man, we just fell around the place. You know, it's like this party song. But then read the memoirs of Steve Perry and Neil Schon, and they said that their phrasing of things, those crazy nights I do remember in my youth, those exchange between the guitar and the vocals going back and forth, they said they got it from Phil Lynott. So Phil, with his limited range, his bass playing and his singing, whatever, and yes, we all grew up, it's the soundtrack of my life, Boys Are Back in Town, being at the beach, playing guitar, doing a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have been doing, is literally inspired Journey. It was his story, his life inspired one of the greatest rock bands of all time, right? Think about it, pretty interesting. All right, let's move on. Tom Petty. What? You don't think Tom Petty's a great singer? It's not what I said. From a technical standpoint, no. Now, by the way, I've tried to sing, some of his songs, Free Fallin'. That's a hard tune to sing. Try it, the chorus. It's not that easy, especially because he belts on it over and over again. But think about this. It's alright if you love me. It's alright if you don't. I'm not afraid of you running away, honey. I get the feeling you won't break down. Right? Is that great singing? No. But Tom Petty, American Girl, some of the stuff he's written, holy cow. His songwriting alone makes him great. Forget about his voice, and then include his voice, and his guitar playing, and his band, and his live performance, and his artistry. His artistry made him great. He had a story to tell. Tom had a story to tell. So, Joe Strummer, The Clash. Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. If I stay, there will be double. Darling, you've got to let me know. Should I cool it or should I blow? Right? Would you call that great singing? No, but it's party music. He touched the party crowd. He got, boom, he just tapped right into what people loved about Lemmy. Eat the rich, right? He couldn't sing 5 notes back to back to keep in key, but at the same time, he's Lemmy. He had a story to tell. Lemmy, right? Iggy Pop. I could go on and on. I'm not going to bore you guys with a ton, but I think it's important because you guys busted me on saying, oh yeah, you only give 1 example or 2 examples. No. And I'm going to do this deliberately to point something out to you guys. So I think of songs, Iggy Pop, Lust for Life. He's not even singing in that song at all, right? But he's Iggy Pop, and his lyrics are hilarious. Let's talk about some girls now. I picked on the guys for a minute. How about Sinead O'Connor? Right? How about Sinead O'Connor? Nothing compares to you. Right? I'm not making fun of her, but dude, she's got a pitch problem, and she certainly doesn't have command of her instrument from a mechanical standpoint. And yet Chris Cornell covers one of her songs. She inspired Chris Cornell. You got to be kidding me. One of the lightest voices out there next to the Pixies or whomever, Cranberries, right? One of the lightest voices, I meant to say Cranberries, inspires one of the heaviest modern rock singers of all time. How interesting. She had a story to tell. Nothing compares to you. She was able to share from her heart one of many of her songs, but right? How about Christine from Sushi and the Banshees, right? Think about this. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I like and I know what I mean. Shove me into shallow water before I get too deep. Right? You call it singing? No, but it was interesting, and the song was pretty cool, right? I like that song. I'd play it again, listening to it. How about Kim Deal from the Pixies? We was talking about maybe Your Man. Think about this. Here Comes Your Man, right? Go back, guys, and listen. Rewind this reel and go back and listen to some of these artists. Lana Del Rey. Now I've heard, don't be dissing on Lana. No one's allowed to diss on Lana. I'm not dissing on anybody, guys. I'm actually accentuating how amazing it is that with the instrument they had, how they were able to use it in the most spectacular of ways, particularly because they tell a story, their heart, their spirit, their drive. Everything about them, their makeup goes into who they are as singers. I think of songs like Born to Die. I mean, it's like, a lot of her stuff is almost like not singing at all. She's got this real light voice, very pitchy, but it's so ethereal and so mysterious, kind of creepy, very dark sounding. It's very intriguing. Admit it. You'd be intrigued by listening to her voice, right? How about this one? Here come the haters. I'm waiting, haters. Bring it on. Madonna. Ooh, did I say that? Madonna. I'll say it again. Madonna. No. Seriously, straight up, think about it. Lucky Star, you can be my lucky star. Right? Or how about Like a Prayer? Listen to her vocal on that. It's like, could she ever gotten on a TV show? No way. But, and I think of like even songs like Borderline, right? Whatever. She's not a great singer. She's definitely gotten a lot better over the years, as did Lady Gaga. Now, Lady Gaga has become a pretty dang good singer, so has Pink and a lot of other people that kind of started out maybe not that great, but then grew into their own because they worked at it. They practiced. They took it seriously. They disciplined themselves, which includes Madonna. Now, she was an incredible businesswoman, very theatrical, did a lot of really creepy stuff, that it was very blasphemous, and she just did a lot of really wild stuff and being sensational in the name of a sensational. But let's remember Lady Gaga did that early on in her career too. She was kind of Madonna part 2 in the sensationalistic sense, right? But it was it's the whole package of what went into Madonna. Now people, especially women, they adore Madonna, right? How about Chrissie Hynde from the Pretenders? In the middle of the road. I went back to Ohio and my family was gone, right? She's not singing. She's kind of like droning, moaning through the songs. But she was really cool, and the Pretenders were a great band. I saw them like 4 or 5 times. Every time I saw them, they were great. The guitar player was great. I mean, great. Like, better, way better than the records because he got a chance to go off and do some cool stuff. Now, I want to say a couple things before I get the hate mail. This, again, is not about making fun of anybody, belittling or berating anybody's talent or their artistry. It's 100% about showcasing what little they had or what they had and how they made it great. Okay? What makes this singer great? What makes you great? What could make you great? What is your story? The world needs to hear your story, guys. I'm telling you, we're in a really funky time right now. And a lot of people, what a shame. What a shame it would be if you had something important to say or to share and you died, that went to your deathbed with you, you never got to share it, and you never got to experience the incredible euphoria and amazing wow of telling your story in song. I'm telling you, it's a rush like no other. Now, I didn't even get a chance to go into, mentioning screen bands or punk bands. We could talk about, Sex Pistols, Wendy O. Williams, Black Flag, Bad Religion, Misfits, Social Distortion, Rancid, Circle Jerks. I could go down a huge list of non-singers that impacted the world and effectuated change in the world in lots of crazy ways, too. Now, the big question I'm going to ask you is, what do these guys have on you? Think about it. What do these singers have on you? Do they have anything on you? Well, David Bowie might be more kind of exotic. I don't know. And he certainly used his fashion and his reinventing himself. Absolutely. But from a technical standpoint, from just a singing standpoint, you can learn to sing. From just a singing standpoint, do any of these guys really have that much of anything on you? Some would say, yeah, I can't sing a note. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I mean, come on, guys. Now, the other thing is my opinion, again, is what they have on you is the will, the burning desire to want to sing and tell their story. That's what they've got on you. That's it. Really. If you really boil it down, a singer's only a singer because they have the guts to be one. That's what they've got on you. I wish if I had one thing I wish I could take back or have today is my early tapes of me singing would blow you away how awful they were. They were horrendous. I know we have that Ed Sheeran clip of him on TV and and he's singing that horrible note, and he's showing you that he was horrible too, and it took him, he said, he has to work at it, he has to work at it, he has to work at it. It didn't just naturally happen. For some, it does. For some, they're gifted in sports. Some aren't. Some have to work at it, right? They have tenacity and spunk, and they have a hard work ethic. They're willing to put time into it. They take chances. They took the chance to try. If you don't try, you'll never know. And it's okay, guys. It's okay to start out with training wheels. I mean, let's kind of put this in perspective. There's a couple of things that I think are really important, and that's that singing is a lone sport. Okay, it's an island sport. It's not like you're in with a group of guys or you're in with a choir, even in that sense, where you're kind of hidden and you don't have to necessarily be the guy that peeks its head out and does his thing, right? You can hide back in the shadows. So being a lead vocalist is a lone sport, but there are things you can do to build up to that give you the confidence to be able to take on stepping from background singer to the front of the stage. Stepping it from guitar player only to a guitar player that sings, drummer that sings, bass player that sings, keyboard player that sings. Whatever that is, you can get from behind your comfort zone and step out front and start telling your story, okay? Now, I'm going to go through a list of things that stop people, and you guys already know this, but it's worth kind of revisiting. Fear. Fear is the number one thing that stops people. Confidence, that's kind of co-regent with fear. People hate the sound of their voice. We'll break this down why they're afraid. They hate the sound of their voice. Stage fright. They're just afraid to get up in front of people. But all of these things are doable if you're willing to take steps to get past those isms. Do you remember when you first started riding a bike? You're a little kid, you started riding a bike, and you had training wheels, right? And you had the confidence that if I tipped in any direction, those training wheels are going to catch me. I've got a safety net, training wheels. Or swimming, right? If you swim at all, you hold on to the side of the pool and you kind of go like this and you let go for a minute and you grab the pool again real quick and then you side the pool, you let go and then before you know it, you're going like the 3 feet little lunge to get to the other side and then little by little you're moving on. Singing's no different. It's no different. And then eventually we take off the training wheels and we fall a couple times. And remember something, guys. I want to point this out. Your most humiliating moment in front of people is someone else's only momentary amusement. It's just, that was awful. Your humiliating thing you might remember for the rest of your life. Oh man, I remember when I blew chunks at the talent show in 12th grade. Your friends don't remember that. You might remember that. They don't. And guess what? If you get back up on that horse and you keep riding it again and again, no matter how many times you fall off, you get back on that horse, there will always be a tomorrow. You'll always get another chance to try again. And with that comes greatness. It comes success, singing success at this. Hate the sound of your voice. We already said that. Afraid of what people might think of you. I just talked about. People will tell you suck. You know what? There's a lot of mean, nasty people out there. And you know why they're mean and nasty? Because they don't have the guts to do it either. So what they want to do is tear you down so that you can't pass them up. They're jealous. Straight up. Wow, you did that? Nah, you suck. Or, here's an even better one for me. Oh, I know that guy. He's from my hometown. Yeah, I remember back when he was blah, blah, blah. But then he becomes Mick Jagger. Now what do you say? Well, yeah, and then you say, hey, that's my boy. He's Mick Jagger. He's from my hometown, right? It works the opposite direction. 1 minute, they're nobody. They'll always be nobody because a prophet is not welcome in his own home, so to speak. It's a biblical reference, right? But then when you become something, then they claim ownership. How funny that works out that way, isn't it? Anyway, people tell you suck. No one supports you. Well, support yourself. You don't need people to support you. Just get out and do it on your own because you love it. Now, let's, before I want to break into something else here in a minute. In fact, let me finish these and then I'm going to ask a question. No one supports you. You're not beautiful enough, right? You don't fit the mold. Well, Adele could have said that. A lot of people could say that. There's a lot of crazy talent that, as from the world standards, on an external physical level, wouldn't call them beautiful, and yet those are some of the greatest singers in the world, right? Crazy. But that's the age we're living in, unfortunately. Rejection or insecurity. I'm going to get rejected. They're not going to like me. Hey, let me tell you something. When you're singing for your friends, or you're singing for your family, or singing for your school or whatever, for the most part, Everybody wants you to do well. They're rooting for you. They want you to do well. Even busking. I kid you not, even busking. If you're doing something cool and unique, people are like, whoa, check this guy out. They get out their phones, they start putting you on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, right? Because they're, wow, this guy's cool. He's doing something cool. He's inspiring me. Maybe I should try that because now I'm inspired. Because your story inspires people. And only you can tell it. And only you have gone through the circumstances in your life that can share things that no one else has, that no one else has gone through. And it doesn't have to be superstardom. It can be that you just may want to busk. You may want to just do karaoke, right? You may just want to sing for your church or get a solo somewhere, or join a band, or be a guitar player that just wants to be able to dabble and sing his own songs. Drummer, sing his own music, write your own stuff, tell your story, right? So think about that. I don't have any time to practice. Bullcrap. You got time, you're watching Ken Tamplin right now on the internet. You got watching Ken Tamplin on the internet right now, you got time to practice. Meaning, you've got time to go out and go on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff. You got time to practice. I don't want to hear that. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Second one, another one. I don't have any place to practice. Well, that could be problematic. Go get in your mom's car. Go in a closet. I can't tell you how many times I've toured and there was no place to warm up. And I could have had the excuse, I can't warm up today. There's no place to warm up. Dude, do you know how many closets, how many backstage weird rooms I've gone in, how many pillows I've sung into, how many different things I've gone through to maintain a level and a consistency with my practice time so that I got great, stayed great, and tried to aspire to be better? Well, if you want to find a place, you'll find a place. Guaranteed. It might be a little harder than others, but trust me, other people have worse handicaps than that. So there's no real excuses for that. Another thing is, what is your motivation for wanting to learn to sing, right? Because I know, I'm going to get back to the fear part. The fear of singing is a lone sport, and a lot of people want to find a way to express themselves, and singing is just the ultimate way. I mean, that, maybe writing, if you're a good writer and write a book or something, but there's like no better experience than singing and sharing your heart in front of people. It's like the best, most euphoric feeling ever. And so I guess you have to ask yourself an honest question. Be honest with yourselves. What's your motivation? Why do you want to learn to sing? What's the point, right? And within that question, you got to say, okay, well, if it's I want to tell my story, or I want to sing for a choir, or I want to join a band, or I want to write my own songs, or I just want to be able to express myself in some form of fashion. I just like singing. Even if I sing alone, I just like it. It frees me up. It makes me happy, right? I find joy in it. Well, identify what that is and use that as the driving force and the impetus for getting great at it. Remind yourself of it. Well, I'm not doing this to please people that much in the same way. Yeah, I want my peers to notice me, and yeah, I don't want people to make fun of me. That'd be great. But I'm doing it because I love it. Guys, I do music because I love it. I do it because I just love it. I just can't stop. It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm addicted, and there's no hope for me, guys. I'm hopeless, like this, I'm hopelessly devoted to you. You probably remember that Olivia Newton-John song. I'm hopelessly devoted to singing and playing and sharing my story with you in hopes that it inspires you to share your story with others, okay? That's why I do it. I love it. I love inspiring people. I never really knew how much I loved it, and especially until I got into teaching singing, because I was a really impatient guy. I told you this before in one of my last webcams. Very impatient guy. And now I'm super stoked when people are doing great. I'm so stoked for them. I can't believe how much it makes them happy, and they find joy and pleasure and in a world that's like in a pretty dark spot. It's pretty stinking cool. So there's lots of things that we can do to start with, to have our training wheels on, to hold on to the side of the pool. You can start in a choir or in a group setting, or go to a college or something, and kind of hide in the other voices a little bit. It's one of the big reasons that people say, I sing great in the shower. We sing great in the shower for two reasons. One, there's good reverb in the shower. Three reasons, actually. Good reverb in the shower. The moisture actually helps your chords a lot when you take a shower and sing. It loosens up your folds a lot, puts moisture and elasticity back in the chords. But you're alone. and you're not expecting anyone out there to hear you. So you sing like no one's watching or no one's listening, and you just belt it out free. And it's awesome, and it's fun, and you're singing your favorite songs, right? Well, in the same context, what if you could do that in front of people with that kind of confidence and let loose, and without a bunch of this to get you loose? I mean, because you love it, not because you have some drug or chemical that's altering your state of mind to give you confidence to do something. That's a downhill spiral. Like I said, I want to be also really straightforward, is that, the term fear was the first thing I mentioned, what is inhibiting people to sing. Everyone's afraid to sing. Everyone is afraid to sing. Everyone, including myself. Now, I don't get out and I'm not terrified like when I was really, really young. And there's going to be reasons for that, and I'm going to explain it in a minute. But I'm not afraid to sing as much because I've done it so many times. I keep stepping up to that plate. I keep walking up to that plate. And the more times I walk up to that plate, the more times I don't really care what other people think, because I know who I am. I'm confident in myself. I'm comfortable in my skin. And I have a direction, and I have a story to tell. And I'm going to tell it. And if people don't want to listen, they can click off. If you don't want to hear me right now, you're free to click off. You don't have to write some nasty comment in the comment section. You can just go, I don't agree with this guy. I'm gonna go listen to something else I agree with. That's what's funny about negative comments, is negative comments are made by people that are unhappy with themselves. Let me say that again. Raunchy, mean, and nasty negative comments are made by people that have an unhappiness issue with themselves. So they find pleasure for a moment, and it actually usually makes them feel worse if they do it with consistency, because they feel bad that they've hurt a lot of people. But they find joy in hurting other people because they want people to hurt like they do. You hear that? They want to hurt other people because they want those people to hurt like they do. They want them in their camp with them, right? If they didn't, and if they didn't like you, they say, that's not for me. They just click on and move on to something else, right? So what does that tell you about the negative guys, right? Well, they never wanted you to succeed to begin with. They're going nowhere really fast, and they will die in their bitterness. They will melt and die in their own bitterness. And you have a choice. You can listen to them, or you can click off them and their comments, just like they should have clicked off of yours and moved on and not said anything. You should just click off their comments going, they're not for me. They don't understand what I'm trying to do. They don't understand who I am. They didn't even take time to listen to my story. They have no idea what my backstory is. I was raped by my father or my mother. I was put in a foster care home. I'm broke. I went through cancer. My mother just died. My best friend just died. I overdosed. They don't know your story. And it could be not that dire or dramatic, but they don't know your story. And yet they're going to make fun of you. Crazy. We're in a crazy world, guys. And again, they're just so bitter that they have nothing better to do than to try to drag you down to their bitterness, their negativity, and their loneliness. Extreme loneliness. Okay? I want to bring that up because I want to put perspective on all of this stuff because it's really important. So we've got our training wheels on. At what point do we take the training wheels off? Well, let's just take baby steps, guys. Just take a little step. You remember riding that bike, right? It was fun. It's like, wahoo! Daddy's not pushing me anymore. I'm on my own, baby, right? And then take off the training wheels. You're going to fall a couple times. You're going to get scraped up here and there. Who cares? It's cool. You're riding your bike, man. You're doing what you want to do. And before you know it, what are you going to be, a BMX guy? I mean, they had to start somewhere. Those BMX guys didn't just all of a sudden become BMX guys. They started somewhere. And I can bet you money they either had one of those cool little bikes the kids have now where they're kind of weighted and you don't have to have training wheels, those things, or they had training wheels. Everybody held onto the side of the pool at one point before they started becoming Mark Spitz, okay? Now, group setting is a good way to do it. Singing something really easy. Don't go, I want to be Steve Perry. I want to be, Whitney Houston. I want to be whatever these great guys are. It's a good goal to have. When I looked up guitars, when I was first playing guitar, I did want to be Jimmy Page. I did try to learn his stuff. But I also learned really, really easy stuff. Day Tripper by the Beatles and, just simple stuff first. And then I graduated little by little. As I got a little better at it, I took some chances, and I tried something else, and I tried something else, and little by little, I became a really good guitar player. Now, there's a lie from the pit of hell that's floating around on the internet, and that is 3 easy weeks to your great singing. 5 simple steps or hacks or tricks to make you a great singer. Guys, I've got a piece of property of desert that I want to sell you in the Mojave Desert. If you believe that, it's your fault. Okay? It comes by blood, sweat, and tears. And sweat equity happens with discipline, over time, with consistency, like a good stock in the stock market. It starts out here, goes like this, drops a little bit, goes up again, drops, plateaus for a little while, takes a big dump, oh no, I'm terrible, and goes up, and then finally, if you look at that stock from one end of the year to the next, gradually, if you draw a line, took a string, and went across it, you go, wow, look how much I've improved in 1 year. Crazy. Now, I have a singing forum, and I'm not here just to plug Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy. This is more about you and you telling your story. I'm just sharing information. You do what you want with it. I have a free singing forum. It's worth it, guys, to bip over there, sign up for free, kick the tires a little bit, look around and see how many people are in there. We got, I think, 18,000 people in there now. I think we just hit the 18,000 mark. Just go in there, check it out, see if it's for you. Try it. Maybe it's not your season. Maybe this season isn't a good season for you. Maybe it's next year or next month. But I'll tell you what, with COVID-19 or COVID-19, the coronavirus and whatnot, never a better time with a lot of extra time on our hands than to try something you've always wanted to than saying I don't have enough time to do it, right? Okay, let's move on. So there's a couple things here. And by the way, we've got a bunch of comments, and I'll try to get these. And don't be discouraged, guys, if I didn't get to your questions, because I'm going to do a whole one of these on just your Q&A. So if you've got a question that's unrelated to what I'm talking about, please put it in the comment section. Don't be discouraged to do that. Going, oh, this is only about the beginners stuff. No, I'm going to get to your questions. I promise. I promise that to you. So other things that you guys can work towards, and again, I want to point this out. Again, the training wheels thing is. Sing in front of your cat or your dog. Sing in front of your family members. One song. Do it over and over again with repetition. Record yourself and listen back. Are there things you like about your voice? Are there things you don't like? Try to change the things that you don't like, right? But I will say that there's a really great, again, karaoke, busking, church solos, school, tryouts, different, dramas and, theater things, doing tryouts and whatnot. Don't go after the lead role right away. Go after something with just a couple lines, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. Try something easy and work your way up to that. But what gives us the most confidence we can have, and that's good training. That's the thing that's helped me the most. You know what the best feeling in the world is as a singer? I hear so many singers worried about, oh no, I have a big show coming up tomorrow. Will I be able to do it? Because they're afraid that their voice is so fragile. And again, the voice is a group of muscles. Think about this in your body. Like any muscle group in your body, let's say you trained for a marathon. And you worked all year at training for this marathon, right? Would you wake up the day before the marathon, or would the day before the marathon you say to yourself, gee, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that marathon tomorrow. I just don't know. My body's so fragile. It's organic matter, and that organic matter could change at any time, and I just don't know. No, you've trained confidently up to a point that when the gun goes off and it's your time to show up, you have the confidence because you trained up to that point. Now, singing becomes nebulous and spurious and a little, flaky, because we don't train and we don't know how to train. So we do wake up going, gosh, I don't know, my horse, some days it works, some days it doesn't. You know what, guys? I never wake up like that, ever. I never, ever wake up like that. I may not be at 105%, but I know that I'll always get to 80% or 85%. And I hate to be braggadocious about this, but again, this is not a PC conversation day. My 85% is better than most people's 100%, okay? Because I train. Not because I'm all that, not because I'm arrogant. It's not just because I think I can do it that makes me awesome, though there is some of that. A singer is only a singer because he has the guts to be one. But from a technical standpoint of who I am as a singer, who I'm competing against, the bars that I've seen set up for myself, I know that I can always get to 85%. Unless I've got a severe throat cold, chest cold thing. That's a different subject. And I still sing through colds and flu because it's the best way to keep the chords supple and moist and stretched with elasticity and flexibility in the chords. So again, guys, I bring in all this up because get training. Training builds confidence. Knowing how to do something builds confidence. When, let's say you're a sports guy and you walk in a room, right? And let's just say you're good at pool. You're a good pool player. And you walk in and it just happens to be a pool table there. And there's these hacks that are playing on a pool table and they're all braggadocious and they think they're all that, right? And you say to yourself, I got this. I'm going to impress that chick over there. Watch this. Because you're so good at the game and you know the game so well, you just got to pick up the cue, bro. That's it, right? Think about that. And if you trained your voice to do the same, you're going to walk onto that soccer field with the confidence of being a great soccer player going, I don't know how many points I'm going to win by today, but I know I'm going to win, right? It's the coolest feeling ever to have that kind of training and that kind of knowledge and that kind of consistency in the training to where you see yourself every day go, hey, no matter what, every day I got this. That is killer. So anyway, don't listen to negative, toxic people, right? Work hard at it. It doesn't just fall in your lap. You don't just wake up one day and go, today, Well, it's true some days you can wake up and sing better than other days. You'll never get the consistency. You'll never get the confidence. You'll never get the, yes, I've got this, right, kind of thing. And then last but not least, because now I'm going to start to dig into some questions here, and I love how people are actually putting some comments. I'm glad, Mark, that you brought up Billie Holiday. I want to go through some of these singers. So this is really Ronnie Van Zant. Good stuff, guys. I'm going to revisit this. Give me a minute. I'm going to look at this. But I want to first again thank my notification squad again. You guys seriously rock. I want you also to put in what subject matter you guys would like me to cover. That would be really cool. And I'm not closing out. I'm not closing out tonight, guys, but I wanted to remind myself to remind you, I have a very, very special treat coming up for you today at 12 o'clock noon. Right now it's 9:49 in the morning. In just a couple of hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes, I've got some really, really great, a really great special surprise for you coming up. So definitely tune in. So I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to do singers who aren't that great, okay? Seems to be some favorite singers. Now, I'm just going to go through some of these, and this is some people's opinions. Paul DeVito, we've got Neil Diamond. Yeah, is Neil Diamond technically not that great? No, but come on. Love on the Rocks, ain't no surprise. Pour me a drink, I'll tell you some lies. What a great songwriter. Holy cow. And what cool tone, And he was sexy, man. He had a really sexy voice. So I don't think I would put Neil Diamond in the same category, but you can, from a technical range and all that stuff. Blackie Lawless, yeah, Blackie's got his thing. So you're right. Mr. C. Lawrence, Lawn Care, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie had his thing. There's not a lot of really great blues singers to choose from in the context of guitar playing blues singers. So, people would say Joe Bonamassa, Stevie Ray, they're kind of all the same. Yeah, they're not great. They foot the bill for what it is they're looking to do. So I wouldn't put them in the you're gonna have to serve somebody category. They've got their shtick, Riley Morton makes me think about Jack White. Yeah, not the best singer, but his passion, like you said, is great in what he does, right? And then it says, do you think that anyone with enough practice can sometime become a star? Well, absolutely. Like I just said, I named a lot of people that became legends that I don't even know how much they practiced that much. Maybe not at all, I don't know. But became legends because they looked at their artistry in a different way. Britney, absolutely. I don't think Britney's that great of a singer. Never has, never will be a great singer. She's got dancing working for her. She's got all the pomp, her sexy little, this is and that's, whatever, coming off, her childhood TV show. John Lennon. Well, that's an interesting one, huh? He may not be a great technical singer, but I'm doing a What Makes This Singer Great on John Lennon. It's going to release pretty soon. There's a lot of things John did with his voice that were really engaging. And so you've got to, again, right, that's correct. From a technical standpoint, shmeh, not that great. But from an engaging standpoint, excellent, great. And by the way, guys, when I do this, I'm not some weirdo, pedophile, wacko guy doing the okay. It's a symbol, for crying out loud. Get over it, right? At what point does the peace sign become taboo? So if I do this, I am not a pedophile. I don't believe in that crap. I believe it happens. It's horrible, but give me a break, okay? Give yourself a break and stop looking for stupid things and find the good in stuff. Anyway, Johnny Cash. All right, I already mentioned him. Billie Holiday, I wanted to get to that. It's kind of interesting. She has been revered as being, and there were some jazz singers, when I think of Ella Fitzgerald and trying to put Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald in the same category, it's like, I don't think so. And you'll hear somebody like Stevie Wonder, putting Ella in one of his songs, like Ella and this and that, blah, blah. And if Stevie thinks Ella's great, Ella's great. Trust me. Billie has her thing, right? But is she anywhere near in the same league as Ella? No. But they were pitted together as being co-regents, co-contemporaries and, co-competitors in that sense. Jimmy Buffett, good point. Great storyteller. Wasting away in that Margaritaville sure made him a lot of money, a lot of notoriety, and just a legend, being one of the highest ticket charging artists of all time. Ronnie Van Zant, yeah, you're right. I agree. He's not that great of a singer, but you got to admit, man, some of the stuff from Lynyrd Skynyrd and some of the stuff he sang, and how interesting too when Axl Rose was interviewed where he got the inspiration for Sweet Child of Mine. He said Ronnie Van Zant. There we go. An artist like that inspiring Axl Rose. Now, some people would even say Axl Rose is not a great singer. So we could talk about, there's different levels of what that means. And, is it great technically only? You don't like the sound of his buzzsaw voice? There's all kinds of ways we could break that out. So what about Cher? No, Cher's never been a great singer. Cher is Cher because she's got the whole of everything. In fact, I just did What Makes the Singer Great on Cher. It hasn't come out yet, but I want you to see my comments on that. I don't want to have a spoiler alert right now, but it's the total sum and the package of what goes into Cher that makes Cher great, right? Okay, what about, let's see here. Tobias Johansson. Yeah, I mean, again, we could sing about Tobias Johansson. Okay. I've seen Tobias in the early days. I haven't seen him, but I've seen things of him in the early days and some stuff now. And it would have been great if people had kept and maintained their voices over time, and they would be doing a lot better now than they had. And they could still revisit and go back to get some of the stuff that they had, or maybe everything they had when they were younger, if they would just spend the time and had the information to do that. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here because I'm going to get into some other subject matters that's related to this. If you have a subject you'd like me to cover, please put it in the subject line or in the comment section. If you have questions, I'm going to be doing a specific dedicated one of these live stream on Q&A only. That's coming up. And then I'm going to roll out a series of these. Excuse me. That is going to be really, really cool. So again, thanks to all of my guys here. The Notification Squad, you guys seriously rock. Doing this every 9 a.m. on Thursdays and Saturdays, Los Angeles time. And don't forget, guys, at 12 o'clock noon, I have something really cool for you guys. You got to check it out. So with that said, thank you for joining me. God bless everyone. And until next time, peace out.